welcome to another episode of RC Construction Hobby. Well, in today's episode, we're going to be doing a little bit of grading with the skid steer and the dozer, but to do all that, we're going to have to get the dirt. So let's go to the quarry and pick up some topsoil. So I've had some questions about this particular loader. It used to be a Brooder 9574. Yeah, that's it. Anyways, I didn't want another Liebherr like everyone else. I wanted to make my own machine, so I made a John Deere 644. Now this one's all electric. It uses linear actuators for the boom and the bucket curl. There's a servo for the articulation and 4 motors, one for each corner. And the rest of it is all 3D printed, except for the bucket and maybe some of the underparts that are originally Brooder. I've even made my own windshield. But yeah, I 3D designed the wheels, the front axles. Actually, the front axles were not designed by myself. I got them from Stein D. Dan. He's on Shapeways if you're looking for those particular parts. So I got the axles from him. And the front boom assembly. Everything else is 3D printed by myself and designed by myself. So the cab, the engine cover, and the rear bumper, the boom, and wheels. So yeah, pretty cool build. Nothing complicated. It's not too heavy, but it's different, and that's what I was looking for. So I wanted to share a little story here about how I got into the whole RC construction hobby. And it started with this little guy right here, the skid steer. It was my first conversion. Probably not the easiest one to start, but I was adamant about getting this particular toy converted. So I got the Brooder skid steer, the Delta skid steer, and I followed this one guy on the RC Construction or RC Spark Studios forum, and he had a build on there, and I thought, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow what this guy's got, and I'm going to build it, and it's going to be awesome. So I took some of his 3D printed parts and I stuck them in there, and it worked. It was pretty good for what it was, but I wanted more, and I didn't want it to just be the way it was based on someone else's design. And so I thought, what better than to just come up with my own design and modify what he had. So the drive system's still the same, the front bucket is still the same, but everything else is different. So the boom is using a linear servo or a linear actuator, and that's what lifts the boom up and down now instead of a servo. And I find that it has more power, more control, and it just takes up a lot less space. So when I go to revise this machine, which is going to be in a new episode coming up, I'm going to be modifying this and making my own skid steer completely ground up. I'm going to 3D print all the parts, and it's going to be a Takeuchi TL12 V2. So that's what I'm going to base this model off of, and it's going to be using linear actuators or linear servos for the boom, and I'm still going to use a servo for the bucket, but It's going to be my own creation. It's going to be the same size, same scale, somewhere in between the 114, 116 scale, probably 115 at the end of it all. But yeah, this is the skid steer. So this is my second build, the small brooder dozer. Pretty simple, couple servos for the drive. You can go with the Tamiya gearbox, but I don't think that's strong enough and you're going to burn out the motors. So the servo option is a lot better, and a regular servo for the blade up and down. I have modified this one a little bit more than most others would have, which is adding my own tracks that I've designed. So they're 3D printed tracks with bigger grousers on them, and my own sprocket to run those tracks. I do have a new undercarriage system that I'm working on that's all 3D printed as well, and I'm going to be making a 6-way blade as well, which is a future project. And yeah, maybe it's going to be a Komatsu PC, you know, sorry, not PC, but a D Dozer, and hopefully that'll be the next version of this. So stay tuned for that. If you're looking for the tracks and the sprocket, I'll leave a link in the description. Around the house here, making sure we don't hit the structure because that would suck for the guys who built it, aka me. So we're going to keep clear of the physical structure and grade out this dirt and push it up along the sides so that we have something to support the building's foundation. we're done all the grading that we need to do around this house and around the pool. So time to put the dozer on the flatbed here, strap it down with some bindings. If you're interested in how these bindings were made, I used some Dubro parts, some turnbuckles, and some 3D printed hooks and some chain. Put it all together, strap down your machines, because safety first, right? Yeah. Anyways, try to keep it as real as possible. This is where realism is key. If you did like this video, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, leave a thumbs down. If you want to leave a comment or have any questions, leave them in the comments area and I'll get back to you with a response. I'm pretty good at responding to any comments or questions. And for everyone else, thanks so much for joining another episode of RC Construction Hobby.